So now I'm going to have some performance after that introduction. Thanks, Bill, and thanks, Cindy, for inviting me. My work with thoracic outlet syndrome and pain problems goes back a really long time. I started in conventional work in 1968 at Johns Hopkins. It's a very long time. I've been at UCLA for many years now, and I got into thoracic outlet syndrome only because we're really sort of by default. I was setting up a stroke service at UCLA. Some of my colleagues, and the vascular surgeons, were the ones who were taking care of patients with thoracic outlet syndrome. And since we overlapped in the stroke service, they were doing carotid endarterectomies and so on. They had these difficult patients with pain that seemed to overlap with neurology, so they sort of got me involved in seeing these thoracic outlet patients. So one of the granddaddies of thoracic outlet syndrome, was really the person who got me involved in this little project. And I've been collaborating with the UCLA team since the 1970s. And over that time period, I've seen over 6,000 patients with possible thoracic outlet syndrome. So I think I've seen probably more than anybody living. I just got back from the Washington University symposium on thoracic outlet that we had. All the chief doctors from all over the world talking about thoracic outlet syndrome. And I have to report that it was a wonderful meeting, and it's really set up some really important collaboration between a number of key institutions around the country: Harvard, Washington University, Johns Hopkins, UCLA, UC San Francisco. A lot of these doctors have gotten together. They're drawing up guidelines for diagnosis of thoracic outlet syndrome, which is known to do. And there are a number of collaborative efforts that are going forward in terms of getting funding, doing multi-institutional studies, and so on. So there's going to be a great future in this in terms of education, science, and treatment. But there's a lot to say even now based on the journey that I've taken these last 30 years. I was going to talk, this is a very eclectic audience, I understand, and I have to assure you that at one time or another I've probably done everything that all you therapists have done in this audience here. Everything from meditation work to guided imagery to role playing, I've done it. So what I am not is a needle jockey. What I am is someone who really appreciates the necessity for collaborative care. My collaborators are many. This is a very big project at UCLA. Bert Mackletter, I mentioned, is one of the granddaddies of thoracic outlet. Hugh Gelibert, Salon, Julie Fleischlag at now Johns Hopkins, Mark Newer and John Mazziota, UCLA Neurology, and Reg Bohr at Smart Brain and Health. Whenever I give a lecture about thoracic outlet syndrome, I like to talk about an old Hindi tale. It's a very important tale because it really gives you an idea about how people can come onto a problem and have many different points of view. They don't really get the whole picture. But I've changed this tale a little bit so it'll be apropos of thoracic outlet syndrome. So if you can imagine the big elephant in the patient with thoracic outlet syndrome. And this person over here is one blind man, in this case a neurologist. And the neurologist is feeling the trunk of the elephant. And the neurologist says, I don't know what's wrong with this person, but I think the trunk is innervated by the third division of the trigeminal nerve. And that's about all he can add to the whole problem. Then over here we have a surgeon. And the surgeon says, wow, I feel this sharp thing here. I'm sure if I cut this out, it'll make the situation a lot better. Then over here in the foreleg is a rheumatologist. And And the rheumatologist is poking on the leg, and he says, well, I think that hurt the elephant. It must be a tender spot. So this elephant must have fibromyalgia. The physical therapist, of course, is feeling the ear, and he's saying, well, this is really flabby. What I really need to do is strengthen it. And then over here we have the pain management specialist, and he feels the side of the elephant, and it's like this big wall. And he's saying, wow, this is so big. I've never seen anything quite like this, but I think if I stick a stimulator in, I can make it better. And then of course, pulling up the rear is this doctor who works for the insurance companies, or maybe he works for defense attorneys, and he keeps pulling on this tail. And he's saying, this is really a flimsy tail. There's not a lot of substance to it. And sure enough, after pulling on it a few times, the elephant sits down on top of this doctor, completely crushes him.
Hey!
And at that point, the 5 remaining blind men get together and they say, wow, what was that big sound? This problem is a lot bigger than we all thought. Then they all get together, and now, speaking in one voice, they say, well, it's too bad that our comrade got crushed by this elephant, but fortunately, we all believe in reincarnation. So we all hope, they're speaking as one voice now, we all hope that our colleague gets reborn as an elephant, because then, only then will we understand what an elephant is like.